welcome back. Today I'm going to show you my dark academia hallway and stairs. I'll get straight onto that now, and then I'll talk about it and what I've done and where I've got things from straight after.
Once in a while I dream. Once in a while I think of you. I reminisce on days gone by when you and I were new. Once in a while I dream, hoping that you'd return to me. But I know that you're not coming back, so once in a while I dream. Each moment passes like hours. Each day is dark as the night. Since we have ended, I just pretend I have a reason to live. It's sad how the seasons change. Sad how the feelings go away. We were in love, but now it's over. So once in a while I dream.
So that is my dark academia hall and stairs. Let me know what you think. I think the stairs, the green on the stairs is too dark and I don't have to lighten it, but let me know. Let me know in the comments what you think. If most of you think I should lighten it, I'll probably lighten it and I'll show you what I've done. But nothing's cost me a lot out there apart from the lamps. I did invest in the lamps. I got them from Next. I seem to get everything from Next. I love Next. They've got such a good range. The pictures were from Temu. I had my own frames, put them in, which I was really pleased with. So cheap, hardly cost me anything. Ornaments were from Next. Baskets, flowers, I've just picked up from Home Bargains, really cheaply. The carpet needs replacing, but my cats, I've got 2 Bengal cats. They've scratched it to pieces and it's just not worth replacing because they're going to do it to the next one. So there's no point in doing that. So that's just going to have to stay. Mind you, the cats are quite young, so I don't know how long I can keep that carpet for. The unit on the stairs, I've actually got my cat litter tray in because my cats don't go out. And it was white and I've painted it black. Done it with a chalk paint, painted that black, put the gold things on, which I think is quite effective. And I've got the big stained glass window there as well, which I like. Although I had to get my daughter up on the ladder. She's taller than me to hang the curtains because I'm only 4'11". So even on top of the ladder, I couldn't reach because I've got really high ceilings. So, but that's my hallway. Maybe a bit dark. Maybe that's the mood I was in when I was doing it, but I like it. It's cozy. But is it miserable? I don't know. Anyway, I've made an under-counter curtain as well. I made it out of a duvet cover, which I'll just show you. I've done it shorter because I don't want it dragging on the floor in the kitchen. So I've done it shorter. Excuse my dogs in the other room, which I'll introduce you to them in a minute. Millie and Betty, the bouncing dogs. I'll show you. I've also got something else to show you. I bought 2 things off of Vinted that I'm so delighted with. I'll take you and show you and tell you how much I paid for them. I bought this lovely eiderdown from Vinted. I've paid £35 for it. It's not feather filled, which I didn't want because they're normally vintage, and I don't really want a vintage one because with feathers and everything, you can't really clean it. But this one is Marks and Spencer's, and it's just fibre filled. I folded it over, but it's absolutely beautiful. And the back of it is a different pattern. And I don't want it to keep warm. It's more for decoration than anything. But isn't that beautiful? I've also bought, which I'm really pleased with, that on my wall, that wreath. I got that on Vinted. £4. I can't believe it. Isn't it lovely? And they're going for about 25 quid. I normally make my own, but I saw it and it was roses and I just love roses. So I thought, no, I'll get that. I know the postage pushed it up to about 7 quid. But 7 quid? I've also bought these roses. I got them in Aldi, 2.49 each, and I bought the pot. It did have hangers on the back to hang over, like a fence, but I pulled them off because I've got nowhere to hang it. But I thought they were really, really lovely, and I thought it'd be nice if you could buy quite a few of those and put them in a pot as a present for someone. But they're really lovely. I'm so pleased with them. Oh, the pot, I'm not sure how much it was because I bought 2 of them. One of them was smaller, but she charged me 3.49 for both of them. But I think that was meant to be for the small one, so I don't know how much that was. But it's tin. I think that's lovely. So I've got that, my wreath, my lovely eiderdown. I don't know how much that would have cost new. It's got to be at least 100 quid. Isn't it lovely? It's time for reflection this evening, like I do every night before I go to sleep. It's been quite a nice day, but I've kept thinking about my mum that passed away and my partner. And sometimes grief jumps back. You think you're over it, and you are. You do get over it. Occasionally, it jumps back, and it's been a bit of a tearful day, really, today. Just thinking about the things. And it's not as painful. Before I used to block the thoughts out, but I don't block them out anymore. I still think, and I try and think of the happy times. But I also think of, with my partner, I spoke to him 2 hours before he died because it was unexpected. And I didn't tell him I loved him. And that's something that plays on my mind. And I think we should all say how we feel. If you care about someone and you love them, tell them. Because you never know if it's the last time you're ever going to speak to them. But that bothers me. I did tell my mum because we had time to prepare and time to say the things that you wanted to say, which made it easier. But don't ever go to sleep on bad words. Always in phone calls, or if someone is going somewhere, always tell them you love them. Always let them know how you feel about them, and they're loved and they're cared for. I think it's very, very important. I think it's something that we must all do, but you don't ever think it's going to happen. You never think that that is going to be something that's going to be the last time. Yeah, it is very strange, very strange. And I've also been thinking about, obviously, when you know that someone is going to pass and you're prepared, like my mum, we said all the things, we said everything we needed to say, And although it was a bit dragged out, really, it's awful for the person that is dying, but it eases us. Is that fair? And yet, when my partner died, it was instant and it was sudden. He didn't see it coming. So we're, that was nice for him. It wasn't nice for him, but it was the best way to go. But for us, left behind, we all suffer. It's a very strange way of looking at but it's true. And, it's a bit morbid to be talking about that, but that is how it is. But it's nice to think of the good times. It's nice to think of happy things. And it's nice to, when the sun shines and you feel nice and you get up and you feel good. And I think that's what I'm focusing on because apparently from the weekend we're going to have quite nice weather again. So that's going to sort of pick me back up again. But I'm also planning on doing nice things. I'm planning on doing something nice next week. I don't know what yet, but something to bring more laughter because I'm still here. I'm still living and I'm going to make the most of it. I want to do something that's fun. I might see if I can meet up with my friend because all we do is laugh when we go out. We find the slightest little thing funny. And a lot of my memories, I've known her for over 30 years. And we still reminisce and laugh at things that had happened. Which leads me on to end with another embarrassing moment. Once I broke down on the motorway and I pulled the car over. Sorry, my dog's shaking. I pulled the car over onto the hard shoulder and my tyre had blown out. So I phoned up my breakdown recovery people and they said, yes, we're going to send a truck to see you to change your wheel. So they said, get out the car and stand behind the crash barrier. And it was a really hot day and it was a lovely day and it was on the motorway. So I got out the car, stood behind the crash barrier and some Hells Angels went past, a big group of Hells Angels, and then I saw them go back the other side of the motorway. And what they were doing was coming back to make sure I was okay. So all these Hells Angels pulled up and they said, are you okay? I said, yeah. They said, we'll change the wheel for you. I said, no, I've already called breakdown. I can't really cancel them, but thank you. They said, well, we'll wait with you until they get here. Anyway, my phone rang and the breakdown man said, I'm in a big blue truck. You'll see me. I'm in a blue truck. You'll see me coming down the motorway. Look out for me. So I said to the Hells Angels, it's all right. It's on his way. I've got to look out for him. So I saw him coming down the motorway, the big blue truck. So I started waving and I said, he's here, waving. And they just stood there looking at me as though I'd gone completely mad, bonkers. And I'm waving and waving. And as it got really close, my eyesight isn't quite as good as it used to be. It was an ice cream van. It was a blue ice cream van. And as the ice cream man went past, he just looked at me and went like that. And the Hells Angels looked at me and I felt so embarrassed. I went, he didn't even stop. I fancied an ice cream. They knew damn well I thought it was a breakdown truck. It was so embarrassing. So embarrassing, waving, thinking it was a breakdown truck. So the next week I went and booked up to get my eyes tested again. I said there's nothing wrong with them. The glasses are fine, but they didn't work that day. Anyway, that's another story that makes me laugh. So next video, there'll be another because I've got loads. And on that note, until next time, I'm going to sleep. Good night.